The rain hammered the trailer park roof like fists on a drum, each drop a reminder that nowhere was safe. Nathaniel, 7 years old and all bones and terror, clutched his backpack stuffed with a single comic book and half a peanut butter sandwich, his small feet splashing through puddles that mirrored the bruises blooming under his soaked t-shirt. "Don't you dare run from me, boy!" His father's bellow chased him into the night, but Nathaniel didn't look back. Not when the gravel bit his heels, not when the highway lights blurred into a river of escape, and certainly not when a kind-eyed trucker named Earl pulled over and whispered, "Hop in, kid. We'll get you somewhere warm." Years later, the memory still clawed at Nathaniel like a bad dream he couldn't shake. He was 22 now, lean and wiry from too many shifts at the Portland coffee shop. His dark hair perpetually tousled as if he'd just rolled out of a fight. The scar on his cheek, a jagged line from that final night with his father, had faded to a thin white seam, but it itched in the rain, a ghost demanding attention. Portland suited him, or at least it had until the letter arrived. A crisp envelope from his mother, postmarked from the same hellhole trailer park in rural Idaho he'd fled at 7. "Come home, Nate. Your father's gone. It's time to heal. Heal." The word tasted like ash in his mouth. He crumpled the letter in his fist, tossing it into the overflowing trash bin behind the counter at Brew Haven. The shop was his sanctuary. Exposed brick walls lined with dog-eared paperbacks, the hiss of the espresso machine drowning out the world's noise, and customers who tipped well enough to keep the lights on. But mostly it was where he'd met Elijah. God, Elijah. With his easy laugh and those hazel eyes that crinkled like autumn leaves, Elijah had wandered in one drizzly September afternoon, ordering a black coffee strong enough to wake the dead, and flashing a grin that made Nathaniel's stomach flip like a stone skipped across the Willamette. They'd been circling each other for months now. Late-night texts about nothing and everything, shared shifts where Elijah, a freelance graphic designer, sketched logos on napkins while Nathaniel frothed lattes. It wasn't official, not yet, but the air between them hummed with possibility. Last week, under the shop's awning after closing, Elijah had brushed a raindrop from Nathaniel's scar and murmured, "This tells a story I want to hear someday." Nathaniel had leaned in, their breaths mingling in the chill, and for a heartbeat, lips almost touched. Almost. But now this letter. Home. The word twisted like a knife. After Earl dropped him at a foster home in Seattle, Nathaniel had bounced through the system. Group homes with flickering fluorescence, counselors who nodded but never listened. He'd come out at 15, awkward and defiant, to a house parent who shrugged and said, "As long as you don't make drama." It was freedom, fragile as it was. By 18, he'd scraped together enough for a bus ticket to Portland, vowing never to look back. His mother, Diane, had vanished from the picture after that night. Too scared, too broken, or maybe just too complicit. Until now. The bell above the door jingled, snapping him back. Elijah sauntered in, shaking water from his wool beanie, his messenger bag slung low on one shoulder. "Rough crowd today?" he teased, sliding onto his usual stool. His voice was warm, laced with that faint southern drawl from his Georgia roots. A transplant like Nathaniel, chasing dreams in the Pacific Northwest. Nathaniel forced a smile, wiping the counter harder than necessary. Just the usual hipsters demanding oat milk alchemy. "You." Elijah pulled out his laptop, but his eyes lingered. "Deadline hell. But hey, I nailed that album cover for the indie band. Wanna see?" He spun the screen. A swirling vortex of blues and golds, evoking ocean depths and hidden fire. It was beautiful, raw, like Elijah himself. "Damn, Eli. That's you all over." Nathaniel's voice caught, and he busied himself with a refill. Elijah's gaze sharpened, that intuitive glint that saw too much. "You okay, Nate? You've got that 1,000-yard stare." Nathaniel hesitated, the letter's weight pressing on his chest. He could spill it all, the abuse, the flight, the fear that home meant chains. But vulnerability was a luxury he couldn't afford. Not when things with Elijah felt like the first good thing in years. "Family stuff," he muttered finally. "Old ghosts." Elijah reached across, his fingers brushing Nathaniel's knuckles. Electric, tentative. "Ghosts hate light. Shine some on him." With me. The touch lingered warm against the shop's chill. Nathaniel's heart thudded, a wild bird against ribs. For a second, he imagined it. Elijah's arms around him, confessions tumbling out like rain. But the scar itched again, a warning. Instead, he pulled back gently. Maybe. Rain check. Elijah's smile didn't falter, but his eyes held a flicker of hurt. Always. That night, alone in his cramped studio apartment above a laundromat, Nathaniel paced the creaky floors. The letter lay unfolded on his bed, Diane's handwriting shaky but insistent. He's sober now, Nate. Therapy. We've changed. Please. Sober. As if words could erase the belts, the slaps, the nights locked in the shed. He fired off a text to Elijah. Can't stop thinking about that cover. Fire. It was deflection, but Elijah's reply buzzed back instant. Thinking about you too. Dinner tomorrow? My place. I'll cook. Nathaniel's thumbs hovered. Yes meant risk, opening doors to pain and hope. No meant safe but empty. He typed, "You're on. Surprise me." The next evening, Elijah's apartment in the Alphabet District was a revelation. Exposed beams, shelves groaning with vinyl records and art books, a kitchen that smelled of garlic and fresh basil. He was barefoot in jeans and a faded Radiohead tee, stirring risotto with a focus that made Nathaniel's chest ache. No pressure, Elijah said, plating the food with a flourish. Just carbs and conversation. They ate cross-legged on the rug, a bottle of Pinot between them, the city lights twinkling through rain-streaked windows. Talk flowed easy, Elijah's escape from small-town Bible Belt suffocation, where being gay was whispered like a curse. Nathaniel's foster kid survival tales, edited for levity. Wine loosened tongues, and when Elijah's knee pressed against his, Nathaniel didn't pull away. You're brave, you know that? Elijah said softly, tracing the scar with a fingertip. Running at 7. Most adults couldn't. Nathaniel swallowed, the warmth spreading. Brave or stupid? Mostly stupid. But Elijah's touch anchored him, and words spilled. The trailer, the rage, Earl's truck. Not all of it. Not the shed, not the blood, but enough. Elijah listened, hands steady on Nathaniel's arm, until the story tapered into silence. Then, leaning in, Elijah kissed him. Soft at first, tentative, then deepening like a wave crashing home. Nathaniel melted into it, hands fisting Elijah's shirt, the world narrowing to salt and heat and the thunder of his pulse. They tumbled back onto the rug, clothes shedding like old skins, bodies mapping each other with urgent grace. Elijah's whispers, "I've wanted this," wove through gasps, and for the first time in years, Nathaniel felt seen, not scarred. After, tangled in sheets on Elijah's bed, the rain a lullaby outside, Nathaniel traced Elijah's collarbone. What now? Elijah grinned, sleepy and sure. Now, we figure it out. Together. But dawn brought the letter's shadow. Nathaniel slipped out early, leaving a note. Last night was everything. Work calls. Lies but necessary. He couldn't drag Elijah into his mess. Not yet. Days blurred into a haze of stolen moments. Coffee runs turning into alleyway kisses. Elijah's sketches now featuring subtle nods to Nathaniel. A shadowed figure fleeing toward light. But the letter nod. Diane's calls going unanswered until one voicemail cracked him. Nate, it's cancer. Mine. I need you. Please. Cancer. The word hollowed him. He booked a bus ticket to Idaho that night, heart splintering. Text to Elijah. Family emergency. Back soon. Don't hate me. Elijah's reply. Hate? Never. Call me. Love you. Love. It landed like a stone in still water. Ripples of terror and joy. Nathaniel boarded the Greyhound as Portland faded, the scar throbbing like a fresh wound. Home wasn't a place, it was a trap, and he was walking right back in. The bus rattled across state lines, wheat fields giving way to pine-choked hills, each mile twisting the knot in his gut. Idaho welcomed him with a chill wind off the Snake River, the air thick with pine and regret. The trailer park hadn't changed. Rusted single-wides hunkered like forgotten beasts, gravel paths scarred by tire tracks. Diane waited at the entrance, thinner than he remembered. Her once vibrant red hair now a graying bob framing hollow cheeks. She rushed forward, arms outstretched, but Nathaniel stiffened. "Nate!" she breathed, voice cracking. "My boy!" He nodded, backpack slung heavy. "Mom!" The word felt foreign, a relic. Inside the trailer, it was a museum of stagnation. Faded curtains, the same Formica table scarred by cigarette burns. His father, gone as promised, left an empty chair like an accusation. Diane brewed weak coffee, her hands trembling as she pushed a mug his way. "He's in the ground 6 months now. Liver gave out. But before, he tried, Nate, AA counseling. For you. For me." The lie burned. "Tried after I left? Convenient." Her eyes welled. "I was weak, scared. But I'm fighting now for us." She slid a doctor's note across. "Stage 3 breast cancer, chemo scheduled." "I can't do this alone." Guilt coiled like smoke. He stayed, unpacking in his old room. A cot against cinderblock walls, the shed's shadow looming outside. Nights were worst. Dreams of belts and thunder, waking sweat-soaked. He texted Elijah sparingly, holding up. "Miss you. Each ping a lifeline." A week in, the park's isolation gnawed. No coffee shops, no art, just pickup trucks and meth head stares. Then, at the local diner, salvation. Caleb, an old foster brother, broad-shouldered and easygoing, flipping burgers with a grin. Nate? Holy shit. Little man grew up. They talked for hours, Caleb's wife, Maria, serving endless fries. He'd stayed local, built a life, kids, a mortgage. "Proud of you, bro. Portland suits the wild ones." But his eyes flicked to the scar. "Heard about your pop. Sorry. Don't be. World's better." Nathaniel forced levity, but Caleb's hand on his shoulder lingered. A brother's touch, grounding. Back home, Diane's frailty deepened the chasm. She confessed in whispers. The beatings she'd endured, the ones she'd ignored for Nate. "I thought it'd stop. For you." Betrayal stung fresh, but so did pity. He cooked for her. Simple meals from Portland memories. Stirring pots while she dozed, chemo sapping her fire. One evening, phone buzzing, Elijah's face lit the screen. Video call, his apartment a cozy blur. "Tell me everything," Elijah urged, voice a bomb. Nathaniel curled on the cot, trailer creaking. "It's a tomb. But Mom, she's dying, Eli. Really dying." Elijah's jaw tightened. "Then you're there. That's love. A beat. When you coming home? To me? Soon." Promise hung heavy. But as Elijah's "I love you" echoed, Nathaniel glimpsed movement outside. A shadow by the shed. Heart slamming, he dropped the phone. Just wind. Or was it? The shadow haunted him, a specter refusing burial. Days bled into chemo runs. Sterile clinic waiting rooms reeking of bleach. Diane slumped in a recliner, for dripping poison that promised life. Nathaniel drove her ancient Ford, fingers white on the wheel, radio static the only companion. "You're a good son," she murmured once, head lolling. He bit back the retort, too late for that, and squeezed her hand instead. Frailty bred forgiveness, or at least its illusion. Elijah's texts anchored the drift. "Drew you in the rain, stormy but unbreakable." Attached. A sketch of Nathaniel's profile, scar a lightning bolt. "Miss your laugh." Nathaniel replied with photos of golden aspen groves. Lies of beauty masking the rot. "Thinking of your risotto. Starving here." Truth. Diner grease and guilt. Caleb became a buoy, dragging him to Friday night bonfires at the river's edge. The park's outcasts gathered. Tattooed mechanics, single moms with tired eyes, passing beers around crackling flames. To survivors, Caleb toasted clinking bottles. Nathaniel drank deep, the burn chasing ghosts. One night, under a blanket of stars, a wiry guy named Jax sidled up, breath beery. "Heard you lit out young. Respect." Jax's gaze lingered too long, hand brushing thigh. Nathaniel shifted, polite rejection. Jax shrugged. "Offer stands, city boy." Word spread, Nathaniel, the runaway queer. Whispers in the diner, stares at the pump. Idaho's Bible Belt clung like damp earth, Elijah's Georgia tales paling in comparison. Stay safe, Elijah urged on a call, voice edged. I know that look in your eyes. What look? The one that says you're building walls again. Nathaniel laughed it off, but sleep evaded. The shed called in dreams. Locked doors, father's roar. Waking, he'd pace, scar itching like a brand. One midnight, unable to shake it, he slipped outside, gravel cold under bare feet. The shed door hung ajar, rusted, forgotten. Heart pounding, he pushed it open. Dust motes danced in moonlight, revealing relics. His old comic book, pages yellowed, a belt coiled like a snake, and beneath a shoebox. Fumbling, he lifted the lid. Letters, dozens bundled with twine. Diane's handwriting to Nate, from the future. He sank to the dirt floor, flashlight beam trembling. The first, dated weeks after his flight. I failed you. Every slap I took, I let you take too. Forgive me when you're ready. Tears blurred ink. Another, years later, he's drinking again. I dream of your face, strong, like Earl said you'd be. Earl, the trucker who'd saved him. Now a footnote in faded blue. Deeper photos. Nathaniel at 5, gap-toothed grin. Diane and him at a county fair, cotton candy smears. Then, post-flight, a Polaroid of his father, eyes bloodshot, clutching a chip. Day 1 AA. Sober attempts, hidden away. Betrayal twisted anew. Not just Diane's silence, but her secret war. She'd fought alone, hoarding hope like contraband. Dawn found him there, box clutched to chest, sobs racking silent. Diane stirred as he entered, eyes sharp despite fatigue. The shed. He nodded, dropping the box on her lap. Letters spilled like confessions. She wept then, raw and unfiltered. I wrote them to keep sane. Never sent em. Thought you'd hate me. I do, Nathaniel whispered. And I don't. How do I? She touched his scar, featherlight. Same way I breathe. One moment at a time. Healing cracked open, fragile. He stayed longer, weeks stretching. Elijah's calls grew strained. When? But Nathaniel poured into Diane. Grocery runs, story hours where he'd read her those letters aloud. Voices overlapping in absolution. One afternoon, post-chemo haze, she gripped his hand. There's more. Your father. Before he died, he asked for you. Said to tell you he's sorry. Pathetic, I know, but true. Rage flared, hot and righteous. Sorry? After everything. Earned or not, it's yours to take or burn. Her eyes, milky with meds, held his. Don't let it chain you, Nate, like it chained me. That night, bonfire again. Caleb pulled him aside, face grave. Jax is talking shit. Says you're too good for this dump, but in a way that ain't kind. Slurs hung unspoken, Idaho's undercurrent bubbling. Nathaniel waved it off, but Jax approached later, slurring advances. Come on, pretty. One night. Back off. Firm, but Jax lunged, drunk bravado. Nathaniel dodged, fist connecting with jaw in a crack of bone. Chaos erupted, shouts, Caleb hauling Jax away. Adrenaline surged, familiar as breath. In the truck home, Caleb sighed. You fight like him sometimes. You're Pop. The comparison stung, a mirror unwanted. Nathaniel stared at passing pines. Then teach me not to. Lessons followed. Not fists, but words, boundaries drawn in gravel dust. Caleb's garage became confessional, oil-stained hands guiding Nathaniel through engine guts. Life's a motor, man. Clogged with crap, it stalls. Clean it out. Maria baked pies, their kids clambering like puppies. Normalcy, a foreign tongue. Elijah sensed the shift. You sound lighter. On a call, his face pixelated but warm. Good lighter. Yeah. Unpacking baggage. Nathaniel hesitated. Then, I love you too, Eli. Meant it before I said it. Elijah's grin split the screen. About damn time. Portland's gray without you. But cracks spidered. Diane's scans worsened. Mets to the liver. Months, maybe, the doc said bluntly. Nathaniel's world tilted. Elijah's come home, a siren's call clashing with duty's anchor. He drove aimlessly one dusk, radio crooning Johnny Cash's Hurt. Tires eating miles to the river bend where he'd fled as a boy. Water rushed indifferent, carrying boyhood echoes. There, phone in hand, he dialed Earl, tracked via online sleuthing, now a retired mechanic in Spokane. "Kid," Earl's voice gravel and gold. "Heard you were a ghost no more." They talked hours. Earl's regrets, his own abuses buried. Running saved you, but staying? That's the real guts. Wisdom, unasked. Nathaniel hung heavier, resolved. Back at the trailer, Diane waited with tea, eyes knowing. "Go to him, Nate. Tomorrow's no promise. I can't leave you. You already saved me." She pressed a letter into his palm, fresh, sealed. "For when doubt creeps." Dawn bus, Portland bound. The letter burned in his pocket. "Live loud, my boy. For both of us." Tears fell unchecked as Idaho shrank, heart a battlefield. Grief for the mother remade, fear of the love awaiting. Elijah met him at the station, arms engulfing, no words needed. Home wasn't a place, Nathaniel realized. It was this. Hazel eyes, steady hold. They walked to Brew Haven hand in hand, rain a benediction. But in his bag, the shoebox waited, secrets unpacked but not discarded. And on the shop counter, a new letter, anonymous, scrawled. "Trailer trash queer. Go back where you belong." The scar itched anew. Idaho's shadow stretched long. Portland's embrace was velvet trap. Elijah's apartment became theirs in whispers. Nathaniel's clothes mingling with vinyl stacks. Mornings tangled in sunlight shafts. "Ours," Elijah murmured over breakfast, flipping pancakes with theatrical flair. Nathaniel traced his jaw, marveling at the ease. Love without ledgers. Work resumed. Lattes foamed. Tips jingled. But the note festered, pinned under his mat like a curse. Whispers followed, customers averting eyes. A barista quitting amid rumors. Someone from back home? Elijah guessed one night, tracing the paper's creases. Nathaniel nodded, throat tight. Jack's probably. Or park gossip. Elijah's face hardened. "We face it. Together. Together." The word fortified. They burned the note in the sink, flames devouring hate, Elijah's hand in his. But embers lingered in dreams. Father's ghost, mother's frail form, Jax's leer. Waking, he'd cling to Elijah, bodies a bulwark. Diane's calls were lifelines. Portland's got color in your voice. Chemo updates, laced with wry humor. Doc says I'm a fighter. Like my boy. Nathaniel read her letters aloud to Elijah, voices weaving family from fragments. Elijah sketched her. A warrior in chemo cap, fierce and frail, sending it framed. "For her wall," he said. Gratitude swelled, but so did fear. Elijah's freelance gigs boomed. Album art for rising bands, gallery whispers. "Tour with me?" He joked over Thai takeout. "Nashville next month." Nathaniel's laugh hid panic. Roots? He had none, foster flotsam, now tethered to this man, this city. Rain check. Portland's my stage. But stages crack. One shift, the bell jingled sharp. A hulking figure in flannel, face pocked like Idaho soil. Coffee. Black. Voice gravel. Nathaniel froze. Not Jack's, but kin. Cousin Roy, father's brother, eyes venomous. "Trailer park sends regards." Roy growled low, leaning close. "Your ma's dyin' 'cause of you. Runaway shame." Fist clenched, but Elijah appeared from the back, arms slipping around Nathaniel's waist. "Everything good here?" Casual but steel beneath. Roy sneered. "Ferry patrol." He tossed coins, sauntering out. The shop emptied fast, whispers trailing. Nathaniel sagged against the counter, Elijah's hold iron. "He's wrong. All of him. Feels true." Voice small. Elijah tilted his chin. "Then let's make it lie." That night they made love fierce, reclaiming raw. Bodies slick. Elijah's murmurs a litany, mine. Safe. Loved. Dawn brought resolve. Call Diane, fortify walls. But her voice cracked the line. Nate, is bad. Come now. Bus again, Elijah's kiss lingering at the door. I'll follow. Promise. Idaho colder, leaves skeleton bare. The trailer reeked of sickness, Diane bedbound, skin parchment. My warrior, she rasped, clutching the sketch. Caleb hovered, Maria with soup. Nathaniel read to her, Elijah's letters now, their love inked bold. Nights blurred. Morphine watches, ghost stories by her bedside. Tell me about him, she urged, eyes alight. Nathaniel did, Elijah's laugh, his art, the way he saw scars as stories. Sounds like home, she whispered. He nodded, throat burning. He is. Her hand went slack midtail, breath easing final. Dawn broke gray, Nathaniel keening silent by the bed. Caleb found him there, pulling him into a bare hug. She went peaceful. Loved you fierce. Funeral small. Park folk in ill fits, rain a shroud. Nathaniel spoke, words tumbling. Forgiveness, flight, the love that pulled him back. She was my first fight, and my win. Back in Portland, Elijah waited station, arms open. I'm here. Home. But the shoebox, unpacked on Elijah's shelf, held one last letter. Father's hand, shaky. Son, I broke us. Fix what I couldn't. Nathaniel burned it alone, ashes to wind. Scars remained, but lighter. Winter clamped Portland in iron. Frost-laced bridges, holiday lights mocking the chill in Nathaniel's bones. Diane's absence was a hollow, wind whistling through. Elijah filled it with warmth. Mulled wine by the fire escape, sketches of aspen ghosts for her memory box. She'd like this city, Elijah said one eve, pinning drawings to the fridge. All grit and glow. Nathaniel traced the lines, thumb smudging pencil. She'd drag me to every dive bar. Laughter cracked, grief's edge softening. Nights, they tangled closer. Elijah's body a map Nathaniel memorized. Freckles like constellations. The dip of his spine a valley home. Love deepened, roots delving. Shared lease signed in coffee stains. Vows whispered in dawn hush. But Idaho's tendrils snaked back. Roy's visit wasn't lone. Letters piled, venomous. Blood calls. Come collect your shame. Postmarks from the park, Jax's scrawl suspected. Nathaniel shredded them, but sleep fractured. Dreams of belts morphing to nooses, Elijah's face fading. It's nothing, he'd mutter to Elijah's concern, but hazel eyes pierced. Spring thawed the Willamette, cherry blossoms a pink riot. Brew Haven buzzed. Nathaniel's shifts a rhythm. Then the call. Caleb, voice thick. Trouble, Nate. Jax torched your Ma's trailer. Said it was cleansing. Cops got him, but it's bad. Rage boiled, pure as moonshine. Nathaniel paced the apartment, Elijah trailing. Go, Elijah urged. End it. Bus to Boise. Elijah's be safe a talisman. The park smoldered. Diane's trailer a blackened skeleton. Ashes dancing like fireflies. Caleb met him, face bruised, Jax's parting gift. He ranted about you. Fairy curse. Lost it after the funeral. Nathaniel stared at the ruin, scar pulsing. My curse. Yours to break. Caleb clapped his shoulder. Lawyers filing arson. You testify. Testify. Voice the buried. Yeah. Courtroom stark. Fluorescent buzz, Jax shackled. Eyes feral. Nathaniel took the stand. Voice steady. Flight at 7. Abuse's litany. Love's reclaim in Portland. He burned my mother's home. Our peace. Jury nodded. Verdict swift. Guilty years. Outside, air sweet with pine. Caleb grilled steaks that night. Maria toasting. To ashes turned fertilizer. Laughter flowed. Tentative. But in the guest room, Nathaniel unraveled. Sobs for the trailer. For Diane. For the boy he'd been. Phone buzzed. Elijah. Video. Proud of you. Hero shit. Feels like surviving. Raw. You're more. Come home to me. Home. The word bloomed. Return brought bloom. Portland verdant. Elijah's arms harbor. They hiked Forest Park, hands laced, summit views endless. "Marry me?" Elijah asked casual, ring box from his pack. A simple band, silver twisted. Nathaniel's breath hitched. "Eli, not today. Someday. When you're ready." Grin wicked. "But say yes." "Yes." Kiss sealed, world tilting joyous. Summer sizzled, plans unfurling. Wedding small, Riverside. Art show for Elijah. Nathaniel's barista tales inked memoir style. But betrayal brewed subtle. One August dusk, sorting mail, Nathaniel found it. Envelope, Portland postmark, no return. Inside, photos, him and Elijah, alley kiss captured, time-stamped months back. Scribbled, "We know. Family first." Ice-veined. "Not Idaho, local." He showed Elijah, face ashen. "Who? Doesn't matter. We're out. Proud. Proud gets us hurt." Fear clawed old patterns. Vigilance sharpened. Locks changed. Routes varied. Brew Haven felt exposed, customers scanned. Then, fracture. Elijah's phone, left charging, buzzed insistent. Unknown number. "Miss you tonight?" Heart emoji. Nathaniel's gut twisted, betrayal's sour kiss. Confrontation brewed over dinner, takeout cooling. "Who's texting you hearts?" Elijah blinked, scrolling. "Client? Wait, no." Frown deepened. "Old hookup. From before us. Must have saved the number wrong." "Before." Echo hollow. "You said it was done." "It is." Elijah's hand reached, but Nathaniel recoiled. "Nate, trust." "Trust?" Like mom trusted dad. Venom spilled. "I fled for this?" Elijah's eyes flashed hurt. "Don't. That's not us." Silence stretched, a chasm. Nathaniel stormed out, rain lashing, feet carrying to the river. Bridge lights blurred. Willamette whispering escape. Phone silent, no chase. Betrayal bloomed black. Not just the text, but the fear it unearthed. Unworthy, always running. Midnight found him at Brew Haven, key trembling. Inside, Elijah waited, slumped at the counter, sketchpad open. Their faces, intertwined, titled fracture. "I deleted it. Blocked. But you're running again." "Not from you." Sobs choked. "From me. From failing this." Elijah rose, arms enveloping. "We fail together. That's love." Reconciliation raw. Confessions by lamplight. Elijah's past laid bare, Georgia flings. Fleeting. "You? Anchor." Nathaniel's scars spilled too, sheds terror. Dawn mended, bodies reaffirming, but trust's thread frayed. Fall gilded, wedding neared. Vows scripted, rings engraved, from ashes. Rehearsal dinner at Elijah's folks, transplants like them, accepting with open arms. "Our boy's lucky." Elijah's mom hugged. Nathaniel swelled, family forged. But the photo's ghost prowled. Anonymous tips to the shop owner. "Gay barista. Bad for business." Shifts cut, whispers venom. Nathaniel seethed. Elijah raging. "Screw em. My studio's hiring." Pride swelled, but so did rift. Elijah's gigs pulled. Nashville tour, 2 weeks. "Come," he begged. "Work. And roots here. Lie thin." Elijah left kissing. Call every night. Nights echoed empty. Then, the knock. Roy, uninvited, flannel rumpled. Came to apologize. Sort of. Beer on breath. Family's family. But that Jax. Stirred shit. Stirred? "You sent the photos." Certainty iced. Roy shrugged. "Warning. Blood's thicker." Lunge followed, drunk swing. Nathaniel ducked, counter cracking under fist. Struggle blurred. Roy's bulk pinning, breath hot. "Stay away," Nathaniel gasped, knee connecting groin. Roy crumpled, cursing. Nathaniel fled to the back, dialing 911. Cops came, Roy hauled, but the damage. Bruises blooming, trust shattered. Elijah's call mid-crisis. "What happened?" "Family. Again. Weary. I'm booking the first flight." "No." Nathaniel hung up, walls rising. Alone he patched wounds, mirror mocking, scarred, small. Dawn brought Elijah anyway, banging door, face thunder. You don't get to shut me out. I have to. Protect you. From what? Your ghosts. Elijah's voice broke. Or mine. Confession tumbled. The text guilt. Nathaniel's doubt festering. You're too good. I'll ruin it. Elijah's laugh bitter. Ruin? We've built this. Fight for it. They did, words weapons, tears truce. Roy's arrest sealed Idaho's door. Restraining order iron. Wedding day dawned crisp. Riverbank. Friends circled. Vows exchanged under maple canopy. In fractures we mend. Elijah promised. Ring sliding home. Nathaniel echoed. Heart full. From flight to forever. Honeymoon hike. Crater Lake. Waters sapphire deep. Night starlit bodies one. But memoir pages waited. Nathaniel's draft. Scars inked. Publish. Elijah urged. Fear. Fear's the chain. Break it. Submission sent. Acceptance swift. Raw. Resonant. Launch party buzzed. Readings raw. Strangers clasped hands. Your story saved me. Elijah beamed, pride palpable. Winter returned gentle. First anniversary snow-dusted. But Diane's letter, last one, surfaced. Betrayal's not end. Its teacher. Prophetic. Then the call. Elijah's mom, voice quaver. Cancer. Like your Diane. World tilted. Elijah shattered. Bedbound days, Nathaniel nursing. Echoes cruel. Chemo runs, hope's fragile thread. We'll beat it, Nathaniel vowed, echoing Diane's fight. Elijah squeezed hand. Together. Always. Vigil stretched. Portland's rain relentless. One night, Elijah rallied, sketching final. Them on the coast, waves crashing. Our harbor. Nathaniel framed it, scar fading touch. Spring's thaw brought no miracle. Elijah's mom passed quiet. Bedside goodbyes, Georgia kin flying in. Funeral humid. Magnolias heavy. Elijah's eulogy cracking. She taught love without limits. Nathaniel held him through sobs. Their bond steel forged in grief's fire. Return to Portland healed slow. Therapy sessions? Joint. Nathaniel's trauma unpacked. Elijah's loss grieved. We're scarred pros now, Elijah joked, but eyes held shadows. Brew Haven stabilized. Owner apologetic. My bad. Pride Month feature. You two icons. Smiles returned. Tentative. Summer hummed. Gallery opening for Elijah, his Vortex series, Echoes of Escape, drawing crowds. Nathaniel's memoir hit shelves. Signing surreal. Fans tracing his scar in air. How'd you forgive? One asked. Didn't. Just carried less. Elijah's hand found his under-the-table anchor. But undercurrents stirred. Anonymous emails to Elijah's clients. Know your artist's secrets? Slurs veiled. Gigs dried, whispers of blacklist. Idaho rot. Nathaniel fumed, Roy's ghost laughing. Elijah shrugged it off, but tension coiled. Late nights, he'd pace, sketchpad blank. What if they're right? Taint. You're gold. They fear shine. Nathaniel pulled him close, but resistance grew. Touches rebuffed. Tired the refrain. Fracture widened. One July storm. Argument erupted. Elijah's withdrawal. Nathaniel's cling. You're shutting down. Nathaniel accused. Protecting you. This mess. My fault. Yours? Ours. Voice rose. Or mine. The curse that follows? Elijah recoiled. Don't. That's the poison talking. Silence stormed heavier than rain. Elijah slept on the couch. Sketchpad clutched like shield. Dawn brought coffee truce, but rift lingered. Therapy unearthed. Elijah's fear of loss, mirroring Nathaniel's flight. I can't bury you too, he confessed, tears salt. Then stay. Fight. They did, couples retreats, river walks recommitting. Gigs trickled back. Memoirs buzz a buffer. Fall painted fiery. Anniversary hike to Multnomah Falls. Mist-kissed vows renewed. No more ghosts, Elijah promised, ring glinting. But ghosts schemed. November chill. A package. No sender. Content spilling. More photos. Now doctored. Nathaniel's kiss with Elijah photoshopped grotesque. Slurs captioned. Enclosed. Note. End it or we expose. Panic clawed. Elijah paled. Police. And what? Stir more. Nathaniel's mind raced. Roots threatened. Love's fragile bloom. Decision crystallized. Confront source. Online traces led to Jax's cousin. A Portland drifter. Idaho transplant. Grudge nursed. They tracked him to a dive bar, neon flickering. Inside, smoke-hazed, the man slouched. Tattoos snaking arms, eyes narrow. Trailer trash, he sneered as they approached. Enough, Nathaniel said, voice steel. Elijah flanked. Steady. Photos stop. Now. Laughter barked. Or, your kind's fragile. Elijah leaned in. Or we go public. Your hate our story. Who's shamed then? Bluff landed. Man blanched, muttering retreat. Fine. Burn in hell. Outside, rain cleansing, Nathaniel sagged. Brave. Us. Elijah's kiss fierce, reclaiming. December dusted snow, holidays healed. Caleb visiting, tales swapped. Parks rebuilding, he said over eggnog. Your ma's spot, community garden now. Flowers from ashes. Nathaniel swelled, toasting. To gardens. Elijah's mom memorial. Tree planted riverside. Plaque simple. Roots in love. They stood branches laden, hands laced. New Year dawned bold. Elijah's exhibit toured. Nathaniel speaking gigs. Foster youth. Abuse survivors. Flight isn't failure, he'd say, scar a badge. It's first step. But step faltered. Spring scan for Elijah. Shadow on lung. From mom's genes, Doc said grave. Early. World grade. Chemo loomed. Echoes cruel. Nathaniel anchored. Meals prepped. Appointments mapped. We'll beat it. Echoing old vows. Elijah nodded, but sketches darkened. Figures dissolving to mist. What if not? Then we burn bright. Kiss sealed. Treatment ground. Nausea nights, Elijah frail but fierce. Friends rallied, potlucks, art jams. Nathaniel's memoir sequel brewed. Harbors held, their story woven. Summer sweltered, remission whispers. Clear, Doc beamed. Elijah hooped, spinning Nathaniel in the clinic hall. We're bulletproof. Laughter bubbled. Relief flood. Vacation called. Oregon coast. Cabin weathered. Waves crashed. Bonfires crackled. Bodies renewed. Love's tide. But tide ebbs. Fall brought relapse. Aggressive, unyielding. Months, Doc amended. Elijah's grin wry. Stories plot twist. Grief's rehearsal. Hospice talks. Affairs ordered. Nathaniel shattered private, therapy's couch soaked. How? Again? Love him through, counsel urged. That's your strength. He did. Mornings coffee strong. Afternoons readings. Memoir aloud. Their laughs echoing. Elijah sketched final series. Tides, waves cradling figures, eternal. One eve coast called again, last trip. Cabin same, sea salt bomb. Bonfire low, Elijah leaned on Nathaniel. Best plot you. Rewrite the end. Ends write themselves. But ours? Epic. Kiss salt-laced. Return, decline swift. Bedside vigil. Caleb flown in, friends rotating. Elijah rallied once. Wedding vow renewed. Fractures mend. Nathaniel echoed. Ring cold. Final dawn, Elijah slipped. Hand slack. Breath gone. Nathaniel keened, world void. Funeral riverside. Tree beside his mom's. Plaque twin, eternal echo. Readings from tides, ashes to Willamette. After, apartment echo. Sketches pinned, coffee cold. Nathaniel wandered numb. Brew haven shifts mechanical, smiles ghost. Spring bloomed indifferent. Therapy dragged. Grief's ocean. Swim. He swam. Memoir 3, echoes endure. Speaking wider, LGBTQ centers, youth groups. Love's not loss's thief. It's lender. Summer tour. Coasts traced. Elijah's haunts. One night. Bonfire solo, waves whispering his name. Nathaniel sketched clumsy. 2 figures, harbor held. For you. Fall chilled. Anniversary alone. Letter from Diane's box surfaced. Betrayal teaches trust's worth. Cling. He clung. New shoot. Barista turned advocate. Portland's pulse quickened. Gigs. Friends. Winter solstice. Starlit walk. Scar silent. Heart scarred but full. Ghost of Elijah grinned. Live loud. Nathaniel did. Years folded like origami. Sharp creases. Unexpected grace. Nathaniel at 28. Lines etching laugh and loss. Scar a faint whisper. Brew Haven evolved. Co-owned now. Pride flags fluttering. His memoir corner a quiet shrine. Echoes endure climb charts. Tours a rhythm. Airports blurring to podiums. Voices raised in halls from Seattle to Savannah. Caleb's visits anchored. Gardens thriving. Daisies everywhere. Your ma's favorite. They'd hike. Beers swapped for stories. Maria's pies shipped. Family chosen. But solitude's undertow pulled. Nights, Elijah's side empty. Dreams vivid. Hazel eyes, salt kiss. Waking, he'd trace the ring, still worn, talisman. Dates flickered. Coffee with artists. Walks with writers. But sparks fizzled. Too soon? They'd ask. Never soon enough. He'd quip, walls polite. Then, gallery opening. Elijah's Tides retrospective. Curated posthumous. Nathaniel paced the space. Waves frozen in blue. Figures eternal. Crowd murmured. But one voice cut. Your husband's work? Stunning. Nathaniel turned. Man mid-20s. Lanky with wire-rimmed glasses. Auburn hair catching light. Partner. He corrected gentle. Elijah. Sam. Hand extended, grip warm. I'm inspired. Lost my brother young. Art heals, yeah. Yeah. Conversation flowed. Sam's graphic novels. Grief sink. Coffee followed. Then dinners easy, no pressure. Sam's laugh pebbled the quiet. His sketches traded for Nathaniel's tales. Fall deepened. Leaves crimson. One eve, post-reading, Sam walked him home. You're a lighthouse, Nate. Steady in storms. Nathaniel's pulse quickened. Storms pass. Not all. Sam's gaze held, vulnerable, inviting. Kiss happened porchlit. Tentative. Then tide. Inside, clothes shed slow, bodies mapping new coasts. Sam's touch gentle. Tracing scar. Story. Old. But yours. Waiting. Night wove tender. Dawn's light gilding. It bloomed slow. Mornings shared. Sam's novels critiqued over lattes. Conflict sparked. Sam's wanderlust clashing Nathaniel's roots. But talks mended. Therapy's tools honed. Winter solstice bonfire. Coast again. Waves Elijah's echo. Sam beside, hand laced. This place. His. Nathaniel nodded. Ours now. Ours. Thou soft. Spring brought proposal. Sam's sketchbook. Ring hidden in waves. Tides turn. With me. Yes. Laughter free. Wedding summer. Riverside echo, Caleb best man. Tides readings. Vows. From flight to harbor. I choose you. Honeymoon Greece. Islands whitewashed. Seas azure. Love's language learned. Sam's quiet strength. Nathaniel's fire banked warm. Fall harvest. Sam's novel launch. Nathaniel's forward. Love lends voices. Idaho pilgrimage. Garden visit. Daisies nodding. Meet them. Nathaniel urged graveside. Sam knelt. Whispering. Thanks for him. Return. Life layered. Co-parenting dreams deferred. But advocacy surged. Foster reforms. LGBTQ shelters. Nathaniel's scar. Badge. Shared in keynotes. One dusk. Portland Bridge. Sam beside. Regrets. None. Flights led here. Stars wheeled. Harbor held. Years later, at 40, Nathaniel reflected. Abuse's echo faint. Love's chorus loud. Memoir 4. Harbors held. Sam's illustrations. Launch packed. Sam toasting. To endless tides. Crowd cheered. Nathaniel's eyes met his. Hazel no, but home. Ghost smiled. Released. In the end, Not tragedy's close, but humanism's arc. Broken mended, flights to flights grounded. America vast, scars shared, love the truest north.